My name is Jabbar Karim. I'm the CEO of Radio Asian Fever, a local community radio station here in the heart of Leeds. Our aims and objectives are to serve the South Asian community throughout Leeds. And I do this because I love it and I can see the importance of sending out the correct message to the masses, really. And it's not just about educating them, it's giving them regular awareness. Well, I believe culturally aimed community radio stations play a big role in the community. A simple reason from what I found was that when I was growing up, or we still find now, is that people have a poor command of English and are not able to read and understand what is available to them. So the language is more important, more understandable, and more acceptable. And through our vocal audio service we deliver, we are able to signpost our listeners to the relevant agencies, clinics, the services, the facilities that are available, and people find this very, very useful. Uh, we can also then encourage our listeners to actually look at their diet, which plays a big role in their health inequalities, really. And I understand the South Asian community, yes, they would love their kind of culture food back home, which was fine due to the weather climate, due to their physical activities, which was fine. But over here, having fried food, having too much cholesterol, sour food, or carbs, it really doesn't help their health at all because of the weather. And now we're so used to driving everywhere, we're not walking, we're not physical as we were back home in Pakistan, India, or the West Indies, or wherever you are. It was a different culture, different climate. So we've got to sort of educate our listeners and let them understand, okay, what we need to do is go to the gym a little bit more, go for more walks, look at the food we are eating, and stop these health problems we are facing. I mean, we have realized over the years the South Asian community, especially, have a very, very poor health sort of record. And we want to change this by educating them. Well, quite regular. We do actually. On the other side, I mean, mental health is another issue we have in the community. And here when I was growing up, when someone suffered from poor mental health, there was a word running around called pagal, meaning mad. And everyone sort of understood it as, oh, he's mad or she's mad. And in other words, there was no help for them. They were like a lost cause, which is totally wrong. But that was lack of education, lack of awareness, and many people, members of our community would just put it under the carpet. They didn't want to be embarrassed by the other members of the community, thinking, I've got someone who's not mentally well in my family. But now, with having so many discussion programs on the radio about mental health, about problems we face growing up, about people suffering, uh, it could be financial, it could be family, it could be, you know, arranged marriages, sometimes forced marriages, maybe the lack of education, poor sort of results from school. So i- it's an age thing that's no limit. That can be from very young to very old. The older people are like, I'm not respected, I'm not listened to, I don't have a job, I don't know, I'm bored at home, I'm cracking up a little bit, and they might talk in a way that is uncomfortable for the rest of the family. So they avoid him rather than listening to him and taking interest and encouraging him. So we're trying to change the whole attitude from our listeners, and we've had really some good results. People coming forward saying, "Well, hang on a minute, maybe I was the one who didn't take much notice or didn't take enough care to see if my father or my mother needed a lift or a conversation or maybe just a night out, you know. So little things, if they can just adjust in their life, I think it would go a long way. But we have come a long way since the 70s and 80s, I believe, anyway. So the more we discuss, the more we talk, the more we, it's like tomorrow will be the Mental Health World Awareness Day, you know. So we bring these sort of campaigns forward to our listeners so they can discuss and understand and learn, really. And even though we encourage people to take courses in looking at mental health courses, and I've joined one myself just to learn how these courses are delivered, and I learned so much, you know. And then I bring this onto my radio show, and I'm so pleased with the response we receive, you know. And it's been so, it shows the actually the strength and the importance of community radio. The local authority, the NHS, and many other organizations, the mainstream, should we say, uh, they use us every now and then, I would say ad hoc, just to tick their little boxes. And that's fine. That's fine. I mean, we've faced issues from our local authority, from maybe the West Yorkshire Police, the NHS, the ambulance service. You can name them all. They're all there, and they all have wonderful funding. And if they have to, they will come forward and, like I said, do little campaigns, and so they can go away and say, "Yeah, we cover the South Edge community." But it's not right. It's not correct. But then again, I don't expect any favors. You know, we are people of color. I've grown up throughout the 70s. I understand it hasn't gone away. This feeling of being a second class citizen in our home. And this is our home because I've known the UK more than any other country in the world. I've been here since most of the non Asians were before they were born. But it's still when I try to do campaigns with the mainstream organizations, I receive a lot of lip service, but really, 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 some hardcore support is lacking. Then when I see a non uh, organization which is none of color, I mean the white organization, they will receive not thousands, but maybe millions of funding to help them build a wonderful center. And then when I look at our side, it's always been a struggle. But then again, like I said, I always look at the glass half full rather than half empty. We are fortunate. We have a license. We have a platform. And yeah, we have aspirations to be bigger, better, more effective. And due to the lack of the support we receive from the mainstream organizations, and I wish they would use us more. But then again, I do understand. I mean, why would they want to go out of their way to help people of color from various different countries when they could pull all that funding into, say, the white community? Which is fair enough. It's been going on for years and years and years, so it's nothing new or different. And they'll deny it, but it's there. It's what they say: the proof is in the pudding. We have a huge impact in the community. Simple reason, you could put all the religious centers together, and we still have more listeners. You could put all the community groups together, we will still have more listeners because we have listeners from every corner of not just Leeds, but West Yorkshire. And with our online service, people talk to us from London, to Glasgow, and to even from Pakistan and China and America. People are tuning in online. Technology is a wonderful thing because now we are able to reach other parts of the world. And people have similar tastes, like they love the music, and then they start discussing issues in the South Asian community, and we can relate to one another, you know. And when I talk about feeling like a second class citizen, even though I've been here most of my life. People feel the same if they're living in North Carolina in America or they're somewhere in China. It seems to be a common thing, really. But some are fortunate. I wouldn't say all organizations are such. Some organizations have managed to get really good support. And once they get the support, they are much more effective because they got paid staff, they can buy the facilities, they got the space. While people like us, as a small community radio, we're still trying to grow. Even though we've been there 17 years, I mean, to be honest, from the day we got a license, we thought, great, let's build a state of the art media center where we can churn out hundreds of young people and send them into the world of media, give them confidence, give them all the skills they need in the media, so far, I'll say with what we have, we managed to have four of our volunteers, our presenters, on the BBC, you know, and the BBC have taken notice because they've realized, well, we realized what we had to do was get all the software and the hardware that was mainstream. So it's like we're training them, they've done their apprenticeship, and now the BBC are able to enjoy presenters who are fully trained. They should be paying us really, but they don't. And they've taken four of it, and we're proud. We're just proud of the fact we have four young people on the BBC because they did their apprenticeship with us on Fever, and that was the whole point of Fever launching, was to give a platform for local and new talent, to be a platform for to people to air their views and concerns. And this is exactly what we're doing. And that shows the effectiveness of community radio throughout the whole UK, really, not just us, but every community radio, I believe, is very, very effective. And they all deserve a bit more support, I would say. Even Ofcom themselves promised us so much, and now they're just giving you a little funding, just enough to survive, but not thrive like we should be, like the mainstream radio, really. But maybe it'll happen in the near future. After 17 years of programs, and we're not talking about just music, we're talking about talk shows, we're talking about informative programs, we're talking about delivering life skills on the air, giving people the opportunity to really have their say. Now, in another 3 years, what we're hoping for is to actually have majority of our listeners actually looking at their children's education and becoming a majority rather than a minority. When we started 17 years ago, we found that not many people took much care into their young people's education. And we know this through the prison service, where you're seeing more and more, say, people from the black community or the Pakistani community. And then we saw a large influx from the Bengali community going into prison sentences. So we knew there was a problem. And when we came across this, we spoke to in many uh, organizations. We found that the parents, I mean, it's easy to blame them, but they have a financial difficulty in working. The father will be working day and night, and the mother will be, really busy herself, whether she's working or whether she's looking after so many kids. It's very, very hard to do that. But with our programs, with our encouragement, with our push, with our highlighting the benefits of educating your child, we hope that in another 3 years, more and more parents will take their children's education serious. So the next generation will be highly educated, will be professional people, caring people, and we like to see that numbers growing. And we have over the years, we have seen, and we encourage this by encouraging mom and dads to say, look, okay, you're not educated or you don't have the time. Please send them to actor tuition. I know it costs £200, some cost £250, but let's make it happen. Let's do this. There was a one program I delivered where we talked about people investing in bungalows and beautiful homes back home. And I said, fine, I'm not asking you not to do it for your pension, for your retirement, whatever. But can you spend the same amount of money on your children? If you can do that, then you're leaving behind a child who's able to look after themselves, financially, physically, mentally, and, be a benefit to the community, really. And what I found was that when I went to the tuition class, it had become full of Asian kids. People had actually listened and thought, you know what? I need to educate my child because I love my child. And I would scream and shout, say, if you don't like your child, if you don't love them, forget them. But if you do like them, if you do love them, then please invest in them, invest in their future. And I have actually seen this change. So yeah, in another 3 years, I would like to see more and more parents taking an interest in their children's education. I would like to see more and more listeners taking an interest in their own health, to improve their health. And then uh, hopefully we try to educate. I am personally trying to educate people in investing in their future by investing in shares and stocks. This is something we never learned at school. We were never taught to invest our money, earn it, work, pay the tax. But really, if you look at the rich community, the well-off community, they all invest. They invest in stocks and shares. And I'm like, okay, why don't you start investing? Because the money devaluates every year. The inflation is going sky high. We're all crying about it. But so we have to be a little bit smart. 10%, 20% of your income, let's put it into stocks and shares. First of all, pay a little bit of money, get professional advice from a financial advisor, have a look at it, make sure it's under your name, make sure you're in control, make sure you're contributing every month into investing. And this will help you to pay for your children's education, pay for your retirement, and it's something where I found our Asian community is lacking, so we're looking at in the next few years to encourage people to invest in their future, look into their children's education, look at in their own physical health, and to inspire to do well in the future, really, and stop these young people going to jail because they think selling the drugs at the street corner, making a quick buck, buying a supercar today is something they want to do. But sometimes you look at that, and for that reason, we ban all sort of music that glorifies crime or guns or drugs, and any kind of anything like that. We do not play that kind of music on our radio station, even though we get requests for it. And I'm saying we politely decline, saying no, it's not what we want to promote. We don't want to promote alcohol, and we don't even promote shisha lounges because we know it's really bad for the health. So we refuse that sort of sponsorship, which is quite not. It doesn't play well with the business people. But so who cares? We don't like it, and now we're working on what food is good for them or what is not. And we hope that in the future people will change their attitude towards food, towards their health, towards their education, especially their children, and even look at investing in the future themselves in making, let's be all become millionaires, I say. That's what I want to see.